Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? Hope you're having a good Thanksgiving to my fellow Canadians. Hope you're ready to eat some turkey, stuffing, pumpkin pie, and all that good stuff. Anyways guys, let's get started. I have a new book review for you, and that is on The Curse of the Wendigo by Yancey. This is the sequel to The Monstermologist. I read The Monstermologist last year and I loved it a whole lot. This book will be spoiler free. When have I done I have done spoiler reviews before. Anyways, free of any spoilers that were in The Monstermologist because this is a whole new adventure. So if you haven't read either books yet, I hope to entice you to read both of them because they're really good. I promise. They're good. If you like gore and, you know, drive heaving a little bit, then it'll be all good. Anyways, let's get started with what the book is all about. It is set in the late 1800s. Our main character is recounting his memories from when he was 12 years old, and he is the assistant to the monstermologist, Dr. Pellinor Warthrop. Our story begins with a very beautiful lady caller from Dr. Warthrop's past asking for his help in finding her husband. Apparently her husband ran off to Canada to look for the Wendigo. With reasons that we aren't aware of yet, Will Henry and the doctor go to Canada, actually close to home. It kind of freaked me out. It was kind of scary. Go to Canada to locate his friend and former colleague. That's basically where the plot takes off. Hijinks and indeed craziness, horrifying craziness ensue. Let's talk about the characters next, guys. What I really enjoy about Yancey's characters is they are so well developed. Like in The Monstermologist, I think Will Henry is just too adorable, and he's a trooper and courageous for sticking up with the doctor and his eccentric ways. Even though the story is narrated by William James Henry, I think the star of the series is Dr. Warthrop, the Monstermologist. Like in The Monstermologist, Dr. Warthrop is eccentric and crazy, very literal, very serious about his work, and he reminded me of Dr. Bishop in the Fringe series. If you guys have watched that series, I really enjoy it. As the story continued, actually, we find out more about Dr. Warthrop's backstory and how the woman and his friend are kind of connected. We start to find through Will Henry's perspective that once the doctor is all nice and cleaned up, ladies actually pay attention. You know, I was just as surprised and kind of shocked as Will Henry's character, learning Dr. Warthrop may have had a very personal past. The image of Dr. Bishop in my mind started to kind of transformed into Robert Downey Jr. in Sherlock Holmes. I don't know. Also, the relationship between Will Henry and the monstermologist continues to grow. There is that love-hate relationship going on. You could see in Dr. Warthrop's actions that he does really care dearly for Will Henry. I just found it so sweet. Next, guys, let's talk about the plot. Like a lot of books, there is a great deal of action towards the end of the book, but in the beginning and middle it kind of does a flip. A lot of the action happens at the beginning of the book when Dr. Warthrop and Will Henry go to Canada. You start to slow down and really focus on the character development throughout a lot of the middle. I thought that was really interesting and different, and so with that I found it wasn't as action-packed as The Monstermologist. It was still intense during the action parts, but it wasn't as frequent. Also, the gore guys. I love the gore in The Monstermologist. It's probably one of the goriest books I have read. The Curse of the Wendigo, at the beginning I didn't feel it was as gory, but as the story continued there were moments where it's pretty gory. It was pretty gross. So I think the intensity of the gore is still pretty high with the descriptions, but the frequency was, I think, less than The Monstermologist. The direction of the plot is quite different than The Monstermologist in the focus of the stories. The Monstermologist really focused on the monster part and the hunting, and in this story we get a flip of there's more focus on the character development. And so the writing of The Curse of the Wendigo, I think Yancey's writing is just beautiful. It had its, you know, poetic moments in the book. I don't know if it's the setting during the 18th century. There were moments in the book where the doctor and the dialogue got really wordy. With that being said, guys, I'm going to give The Curse of the Wendigo a readable rating. It's quite different from The Monstermologist in terms of what the story is focused on. I don't think I liked it as much as The Monstermologist, but I thought it was still very good. One of the goriest books I've read so far. I haven't read too many horror books in the adult horror genre, but I'm very impressed that this book, which is targeted at a YA audience, how gory and intense it is. Definitely not for the faint of heart and for the weak stomach. If you have an iron-like stomach and don't eat for a couple of hours before or after reading this book, I think you'll be okay. Anyways, guys, have a good one. I will talk to you later. Bye!